The internet went wild with rumors after Foolio's sudden death. His creepy interviews packed with eerie predictions and chilling confessions hinted at serious trouble brewing. But one name kept popping up in all the conspiracy theories, Young and Ace. And now people can't stop talking about how Feo seemed to know something bad was coming. His interviews hit harder now than ever, suggesting a darkness that was always lurking just below the surface. As federal agents dig for clues, the mystery deepens and the tension ramps up. So here are Foolio's most disturbing interviews about Young and Ace, where he was trying to warn everyone about a storm that no one saw coming. Feo talked about being the most hated rapper.
I mean, you feel like you're the most hated just because you speak your mind?
Nah, not even that. It's like, I feel like, you know what I'm saying? Constructive criticism ain't nothing wrong with that. So when a tell me some I won't get mad. I just take it as what it is.
Julio Feo, the voodoo magician, taught everyone a hard lesson about messing with people for no good reason. But I mean, the way he got taken out was brutal and just doesn't sit right. Don't you think no one deserves to go out like that anyway? His demise and bloody rivalry with none other than Young and Ace have got people thinking that maybe their beef was a setup to ruin his rep in his own hood. If that's true, it just proves that Feo was getting framed all along. And if you don't believe this, there is this interview where he weirdly talked about being hated by his fellow rappers just because he always talked his mind. In this interview is where people started speculating he was talking about Young, and he was at the peak of his fame, working hard for everything, and suddenly everyone turned on him when the interviewer asked about what usually goes down in his hood. His response was all over the place, and he started fumbling.
Day to day, what goes around, what happens around these parts?
Yeah, a lot of killings, a lot of police. Man, that go down. That go down.
Well, there you have it. The rap game has always been competitive and disrespectful during beefs. But this era of young rappers has taken it to new heights. It's like a battle to see who can one-up the other with disrespect, especially by dissing their ops, ballin' homies. We all know about the beef and drill songs that have permeated throughout his career. Foolio made a name for himself with gritty realism and dark lyrics. Unfortunately for him, the darker his music got, the more that dark energy reflected in his real life, with assassination attempts and run-ins with the law. Foolio grew up on the north side of Jacksonville. He witnessed violence from young age, carrying a gun at just 13. He lost his father to gang violence and got shot at for the first time when he was 15, just 2 years after losing his dad. While violence is nothing to celebrate, you can't help but see how it messed everyone up, especially a kid growing up in it. It's no surprise that Feo got caught up in all of this. Even to this day, from there, things just kept getting worse. Foolio says he lost over 15 friends before he turned 21, all due to gang drama. This is pretty common since most gang members in Jacksonville are between 16 and 24, with some as young as 12. Two of Foolio's close and deceased friends, Bybee and Techie, were explicitly mentioned by rival gangs in the viral song Who I Smoke. For quite some time, Foolio has been a prominent figure in the Florida rap scene, connected to many local musicians. But it was never just about the music for him, with us like Don't Want to Go to War with Me, I'm Going to Die About Me, You Hear Me. In a shocking turn of events, just hours after Foolio's death, Young and Ace dropped a new diss track titled Do It and posted a tweet that seemed to mock Foolio's passing. This latest tragedy underscores the long-standing rivalry between the two rappers and their crews, Ace's TK and Foolio's KDA. Both Foolio and Yungeen have tragically lost multiple friends and family members to this ongoing feud, including their own brothers. Following Foolio passing, federal authorities are reportedly focusing on Young and Ace in connection with this incident. The Tampa Police Department has confirmed to 2XL magazine that Foolio, whose real name was Charles Jones, was one of 4 people shot during the incident outside the hotel. All we know at this point is around 4:40 this morning we received a 911 call about a shooting in a parking lot on McKinley and Fowler. 2 cars were shot at, and 4 people were shot. In total, 3 were transported to hospitals, and 1 was pronounced deceased at the scene, said Joni Lewis, public information officer for the Tampa Police Department. What we have learned, and this is early in the investigation, 2 cars were shot at, repeated Jani Lewis. The statement continued, saying that police are actively investigating the events leading up to the incident and are working to identify those involved. This is an ongoing investigation, and further information will be released as it becomes available. Meanwhile, Foolio's attorney, L.S. Fusco, informed News4Jax that Foolio was celebrating his 26th birthday and initially staying at an Airbnb.
You gotta get to that money. You're gonna be tough. You're gonna be tough and be tough as nobody's gonna be in jail. You better get to that money.
However, they were asked to leave by the host due to having too many people, prompting them to relocate. Unfortunately, Foolio and his friends shared this new location on social media, according to Foolio's attorney. he was ambushed at the Holiday Inn Hotel where he had rented a room after leaving the Airbnb. In case you're not familiar with Foolio's backstory, he was a rising star in the rap scene from Jacksonville, Florida, known for his significant social media presence. He had over 1 million followers on Instagram and more than 600,000 subscribers on his YouTube channel. However, Foolio was also notorious for his intense public feud with fellow Florida rapper Yungeen Ace. This conflict wasn't just personal. It stemmed from a long-standing rivalry between their respective crews, Foolio's KDA and Aziza TK. And during this rivalry with Yungeen, he survived many shootouts. After being kicked out of school in the 9th grade, Foolio was sent to an alternative school in rival territory. On his first day at the new school, someone from the rival neighborhood got killed while waiting for the bus, and Foolio started dissing them all over social media. Many people at the school believe Foolio had something to do with the hit, leading to a fight over the incident. Throwing hands is one thing, but after the last bell rang, the situation took a wild turn. Foolio hopped on the bus, but the ops were following him while he was walking down the street. Someone started shooting at him and his homies. A bullet hit Foolio in the leg and knocked his hip out of place, forcing him to crawl away. While the shooter continued firing, Foolio made it to the front yard of a woman in the neighborhood and asked for help, but she told him to get off her property and refused to assist him. He passed out and woke up surrounded by cops and MTs, then blacked out again. Woke up in the hospital. The ops weren't the only ones who thought he was involved in the incident that occurred that morning. The police started questioning him about the situation as well. Eventually, Foolio proved that he was just going to school that morning and wasn't involved. However, his life took a brutal turn after that day. Foolio tried working a normal job in a factory for a short period, but it only lasted a few months before he returned to street activities. He dove deeper into the streets and started rapping simultaneously. Initially, rapping was just a side activity, but after a few of his early tracks gained popularity, he realized it could be his ticket out of the trenches. Around the same time Foolio was gaining buzz in the city, another rapper named Yungeen Ace was also laying down tracks and trying to make a name for himself. Instead of collaborating and representing Jacksonville together, they ended up splitting the city in half, leading to dozens of casualties on both sides.
Now the next thing is these groups, I won't name them, they know who they are. We're not going to tolerate any retribution, any revenge. We're going to watch. We're going to be around paying attention to what's going on.
The rap game is notorious for its fierce competition and the intense pressure to stay on top. Artists often feel the need to constantly prove themselves and their worth, especially when new talent emerges that threatens their reign. This dynamic might have played a crucial role in the alleged jealousy that Yungeen Ace harbored towards Foolio. As Foolio began to make waves in the industry, his talent and unique sound started gaining traction, especially in his hometown. This rising star could have naturally drawn attention and interest from the local community, including fans and industry insiders. It is speculated that Yungeen Ace, already an established name in the game, viewed Foolio's growing popularity as a direct threat to his own success and reputation. Yungeen Ace had his own share of struggles and challenges in the industry. He had publicly expressed his feelings of being disliked and even hated by his own community. It is possible that these experiences made him overly protective of his status and more sensitive to any perceived competition. When Foolio entered the scene and started gaining recognition, Ace might have seen it as a personal attack or a deliberate attempt to overshadow him in the world of rap. Diss tracks and subtle jabs at competitors are not uncommon. Artists often use their lyrics and public appearances to send messages and assert their dominance. However, it appears that Yungeen Ace took things several steps further. Instead of simply trading bars or engaging in a war of words, Ace allegedly resorted to violent measures. Foolio's fans also suggest that Yungeen Ace arranged multiple shootouts targeting Foolio directly. This extreme action could have been driven by his jealousy and desire to eliminate the competition. By endangering Foolio's life, Ace might have intended to send a clear message, a warning to back off, and a threat to end his rising career. It is a disturbing tactic that unfortunately has a history in the rap game where disputes and rivalries have sometimes escalated dangerously. However, it is important to emphasize that these are all speculations and theories that emerge from the controversy surrounding their relationship. They reflect the often intense nature of the rap industry and the pressures that artists may face. While these theories provide a possible explanation for Yungeen Ace's alleged actions, they do not excuse any potential wrongdoing. Foolio insulted Yungeen by calling him a rat, but Foolio never stopped talking about it. During one interview, he even called him a rat and accused him of snitching. We all know how Foolio and Yungeen have been locked in a year-long beef, dropping diss tracks, disrespecting each other's fallen loved ones, and more. Despite the prolonged battle, it seemed like there was no end in sight. Recently, Foolio posted a video online seemingly testifying with a police officer by his side. The captain hinted that this Jacksonville native was calling out someone believed to be involved in a fight between his associates.